All right, without further delay, let's talk about this week. So this week we have the Nine of Wands. I don't know how well it shows up on my camera, but we've got the moon and Sagittarius symbols at the top, and we have this person who looks really worn out and tired, and there's like 9 wands in front of him, and he's looking up at the moon. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, which just looks like a hand holding a pentacle. And it is Capricorn and Taurus in Virgo, so that's heavy earth energy right there. But then we also have the Queen of Cups. So we have another court card featuring cups. So last week it was the Knight, this time it's the Queen. And that's double water, whereas last time it was fire and water. So we've got fire energy with the Nine of Wands, we've got earth energy with the Ace of Pentacles, and we've got water energy with the Queen of Cups. So we have no air this week. So it doesn't seem like communication is a major theme this week. So maybe it's because we just did a lot more nurturing and communicating with our relationships last week. We didn't have any air last week either. So, which is interesting because we're finishing up Gemini season. But anyways, so what this makes me think of when I look at these as a whole is the Nine of Wands, like the 9 is where you're almost to the end of something, because 10 is the completion card. But with this particular 9, it's kind of like a little mini break right before you do like the final sprint at the end. So let's say you're running a marathon and like you're really exhausted, so you're kind of trying to like pace yourself at the end or do whatever so that you can gather the energy for that final sprint. This card though also makes me think of like final hurdles to cross, because there's things blocking this person's path. So not only is it like a time of recovery, but it's just like almost like a timeout session. So think about like, I don't know, I'm thinking about soccer, and you just take a timeout so that you can kind of plan your last moves, and you want to be really precise with it so that you can win the game at the end. So it's just interesting to me because like the moon is also represents home, and Sagittarius is more about like they're real truth seekers and things like that. So I just find that to be like so interesting. Kind of makes me think of like home is wherever you make it, like your home is inside of you, but that also feels very like Cancer to say. So I'll have to think more about the astrological symbols of the card. But basically, yeah, 9 of Wands is you're almost at the end of something, but instead of like pushing yourself full steam ahead to just like get to the end of it, actually pause, like take a little break from it and figure things out. Figure out your last best moves to finish up the last thing rather than just pushing yourself forward. Because if you think about it, that makes sense. Because if you don't take that break, you kind of end up looking like the 10 of Wands, where he's carrying all those heavy wands on his back. And you can feel a little bit oppressed and heavy from that energy, but you know that you just have to kind of keep moving forward to the end. But this is, yeah, a little break, a little pause, figure things out. But it's interesting that we have a card that's right before an ending, and then we have a card that's a new fresh start, a new beginning. Whereas the wands represent like inspiration, not ideas like the swords do, but more like a creative inspiration, like a fiery energy. So gathering up that passion to make a final decision, to figure out how you're going to execute something to finish it up as best as you can. Whereas, actually, I think this might, now that I'm looking at this card and just looking at the imagery, I think these cards kind of go together, because you're looking to finish up something and gather up your energy reserves and make a plan. But this one here, there's little, you can't really see it, but there's like almost like little rings on their finger, but they look like eyes. Like there's 2 eyes on it. And aces can also just be about opportunities and fresh starts. So this week you really want to look for opportunities. They're going to arise, You just have to pay attention to them. So it's just something that will be offered to you that can help you figure this out. So you're going to pause what you're doing, whatever it is that you're working on, that you're almost at the end of. And you know what this is for you. It's going to be different for all of us. But there's something that you're wrapping up, but you're kind of maybe a little bit stuck. Take that break and just use the week to just look around you. Maybe someone is going to offer you some advice, or maybe someone's going to gift you something, or maybe you're just going to hear something or come across something. Just be open to that, because it's going to be something that's really helpful. And because this is earth energy and we've got Capricorn and Taurus, these might be opportunities for financial help. It might be wisdom that has to do with your health, but it's definitely more of like a physical manifestation type of thing. So maybe even going outside or doing something with your body that you haven't done before will also help you figure out something related to your creativity. Because Capricorn is like both Capricorn and Taurus are very steady energy, but in different ways. So Capricorn is more like productivity focused because it's ruled by Saturn. And then you have Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So it's much more about like sensuality, enjoying just being in a body, enjoying the human existence and good food and all of that. But it's all, both of them are with Virgo in this one. So Virgo is also very like precise, analytical, and all of those good things. So mixing them all together, getting into your body, being open to receive pieces of wisdom or offering some other people, that's going to help with that. And then finally, to like wrap it all up, even though this one seems disjointed from the other ones just because it's a queen and it's all water energy, but this also makes me think of the High Priestess a little bit, because High Priestess is about listening to your intuition, and Cups are also about like intuition and emotions. But I feel like the message of this card is to really like pay attention to your emotions this week and see how you're feeling about what is happening around you, and just kind of paying attention to that. I think maybe the Ace is what's gluing this all together, because there really is a vibe of like, this isn't a week of taking action. I don't get that vibe at all. This is a week of like paying attention to like what is happening, because we're stuck with something. There's something we want to be able to finish up, wrap up, and move forward on, but we don't know how to do that. So this week we need to pay attention to things that are going to come our way that are going to help us, new ideas, fresh starts, new opportunities that are going to be tangible. And then we also need to pay attention to our emotions, how we're feeling about things, how we're feeling about ourselves. But there's an element of like needing boundaries as well, I just feel, because her cup is just kind of like draining like right out, just like running all over the place. So you don't want to let your emotions like get the best of you either. You want to kind of keep it a little bit contained. You want to pay attention to it, but you want to be able to self-regulate as well. So the Queen of Cups is a very like nurturing character in the card. So maybe you yourself are nurturing, whether it's children or partners or friends or pets or colleagues, whatever it is. You want to set firm boundaries about that, because if you're just like over giving, you're going to deplete yourself more, and it's going to be harder to, you're just going to drain yourself. It's going to be harder to finish this other thing up that needs to get done. It's going to be harder for you to pay attention to the opportunities that are going to come arise to you if you are over giving in that way. So pay attention to your emotions, have some boundaries for yourself this week with yourself and others, and just be open to the possibilities. But I'm really excited to see how these cards are going to interplay this week, because I'm kind of thinking up in my own mind some of the things. Even though I wrapped up my things for work, there are other things that I still have on my to-do list that I'm looking to wrap up so that I can actually fresh start it in July with my novel and with this stream and figuring things out. I do feel a little bit stuck with some of that. So I do think that just by paying attention to my emotions, and what's going on around me, and just, I don't know, I think that earth energy is really going to help, because like both of these are asking for structure. I feel like this is asking for structure on a tangible level, so maybe structures around your time, your routines, especially with that Capricorn energy. Yeah, it's Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo working together here. So all those earth sign energies, structures, routines, maybe having an exercise routine built in there will help as well, so that you have space for the creativity, the intuition, following the emotions, so that you can solve whatever it is. So I'm excited about the week ahead. And it feels good. It feels like good energy, because, and I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes like the energy can be a little frantic. You feel like you're always racing against the clock, or it's go, 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 do, do, do. But this feels more relaxed. It feels like there's no need to rush. Yes, you're at the end of something and you want to wrap it up or whatever, but you can just kind of sit back sometimes and just take that break like the Nine of Wands is asking you to do, so that you can just be present for what's going on and figure things out. So that's exciting. Yeah, and I hope this reading helps. So please let me know. Come back next week and tell me how the cards played out for you, because I really want to know.